I'm Luke Sheldrick. I own Terramore Farm, a cut flower and vegetable farm 45 minutes west of Ottawa with my wife Dana. And this is week 10 of our weekly vlog. We're taking you through our whole season. And this one is gonna be a good one. We're out here right now. Bryn and Cal are prepping a plot for direct seeding and planting later this week. We're prepping a ton of the field. Like within 2 weeks, this whole thing is gonna be done, and we have 2 more fields like it that are gonna be ready to go too. Our greenhouses are now filled with grafted tomatoes, despite horrific things that happened to them from the frost. And if you check out the other videos, you'll learn about that. This week though, I'm borrowing a tractor to help haul compost because poor Paul is hauling buckets right now. And we're gonna get it all done. Plenty more to come. Paul, are you amped for when I get the tractor?
Are you getting your own or are you borrowing it?
Borrowing a tractor.
Yeah, I guess that's good.
It's gonna help with the compost is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think it's nice, but I do hate the tractor because it's so loud.
Okay, well it's gonna be around today, but it's gonna save your legs on the wheelbarrow trips.
I agree, I'm getting old.
So fortunately, my buddy Brian down the road has a tractor that he can lend me, and he typically does it like once in the spring and once in the fall. It's super helpful. So now's the time to use it in the spring because we're gonna be doing a lot of compost. I'm just gonna have it for 1 week, so I'm probably gonna dump loads of compost at the heads of all the beds that we're gonna prep. Got the harden off hut here. So this is so that we can climatize our transplants to the outside environment from the greenhouse before they get transplanted, because that's too much shock at one time. If you transplant them right away, they're getting direct sunlight, wind, and also temperature change and the transplant all at once, so it's gonna shock them. So right now we're climatizing them to the outside environment, but we have this harden hut so that at night we can put the sides down and it'll protect them from the extreme cold. So this is filled with flowers right now. P9 is all prepped. We're gonna do compost for it. And then Dana and Louise will get a chance to plant, or at least plan the planting today, and they'll be planning the transplanting, and then we'll execute that later in the week for them.
Non-planted, what do you say? Non-planted. Wait till fall. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, this is a long way, this tunnel is a long way from the compost pile all the way on the other side of the far greenhouse. So the team is just gonna be able to just fill buckets from here, and then I'll just do trips when they need me. That's gonna be really nice. And we have this all week, so we're just gonna get as much prep done as possible. And then when this is back, we will be using the blue truck where we just fill buckets at the source and drive the blue truck up. Let's poke our head into this greenhouse and see the cucumbers that got planted yesterday. So right now, the tanks that are in this greenhouse fill automatically when we turn on our field irrigation, like with the pond water. And it has a float valve in the tanks, so it just turns off if they're overfilled. And then I'm manually, well, using technology, but manually using my cell phone to turn on and off for the irrigations. Because last year, when it was fully automated and it was doing 15-minute pulses over and over, a few times the tanks ran out of water, and then that was really bad for the pump. And a couple times it actually overheated, like by trying to run empty, and like blew the fittings out, like the plastic fittings out, like melted them and blew them out. So lesson learned there. I'm just doing it manual until we get to a better hang of like how long an irrigation will be before it sort of empties the tank. We really don't want them to empty. Soon I'll go back. So right now I can just go on here. Let's see if you can see this. So let's just click this. It's on manual. Oh, what a bad time for that to happen. So I just click that on, and then I can already hear the pump just turned on. And we just want to make sure that that everything's going well. So cukes look great. We'll probably lose a few just by the transplant, but we have, of course, you plant extras to account for that. The poniente are in this row. Those are the ones that are a foot long. They're 18-inch spacing, and then the minis, as I like to call them, are 1 foot spacing. Now we got a little bit wild with our, and the crew did a great job tarping this and landscape fabricating that. We got a little wild with the placement. I wanted them a little more to the left, but it's okay because they're just gonna have a real nice lean on them. And I'm kind of curious if that's gonna be okay, because we weren't really harvesting from this side anyways last year, so we'll just harvest from the one side, and then that gives us more space for our tomatoes here in our cart, and then this one will lean, so they're just gonna have a nice lean on them when we trellis them. I don't see a huge negative coming from that, but yeah, we'll see. Tomatoes are looking incredible. So they're not even a week and they've already started to grow. We'll be putting trellising and pruning into our weekly schedule. We'll be doing that on Mondays. So every Monday we trellis and prune. So that's gonna be on the to-do list next week, and it'll be every week from there. So I'm gonna rip up to rebuild some beds up there where they were working, because 4 of them out of the 8 just weren't looking very good. They need to be reestablished, right? So my vote was to leave the tunnel off for 3 weeks and risk it for Mother's Day tulips to be ready on time. But as you can see, I've been outvoted, and I think this was worth the hour of labor, and that's why a democracy's good, right?
Yeah.
You guys outvoted me, and it's a much better, it's not worth the risk to miss for an hour of work. Now we have the plastic, huh?
We don't want to miss these.
No, so now we have the plastic on. Guaranteed tulips will be ready for Mother's Day. And I think I was being a little bit lazy, risking it for the biscuit, but not worth it. So here we go. It's on, it's ready to rock, and tulips will be ready for Mother's Day. So go Team Flower. Shovel it out. How's it working though? Yeah? Oh yeah, that's sweet. 1 load did pretty good and it's on thick. That's nice. So maybe 5 loads. Or...
This is 3 buckets each.
Perfect. That's awesome.
Well, yeah.
So sometimes we leave drifts right in the field. Great place to store them. Easier than wrapping them up. And we actually haven't had problems yet. We always thought that mice were gonna chew through, and we have seen some instances, but totally not enough damage that it's worth having to roll them up every year. So we just leave them in the field a lot of the time, and it's been good. We just put them in strips of 4 and staple them down, and then in the spring we grab them and reuse them. So that's awesome. A lot of less pack up. We used to have to run around trying to find those electrical, like, wooden rolls to put them on and stuff, which is a great option if you want to have clean fields and stuff and don't want to risk it. But for us, we kind of do a little bit of half and half. So while Cal and Bryn are out working in the field, getting stuff happening, Caitlin and Paula are in here potting up eggplants. How's it going, y'all?
Good.
three trays done, 1 to go.
Yeah.
Nice, right on. Okay, killing it, knocking off the lid. That was like the smoothest I've ever seen it done.
By me, yeah.
Do you want to talk about why you like the popper?
Are you going to vote with that? I don't.
Okay, good. You
It
don't
does
like
save time. It does save time once you get the hang of it.
Yeah, and it's nicer, nicer root balls. They're hammering out the last jalapeno, and then we'll also pot up all of these peppers this week. And we're gonna skip the tomatoes. They were sort of backup for the greenhouse if we didn't get enough from other farms to fill our greenhouses. So those are actually no longer needed. We're gonna pot up a few for our plant sale as like big plants, like right into 6-inch pots. But aside from that, they're gonna go to waste. So it's Wednesday. This morning, I'm with our daughter, Edie. So she's not in daycare yet, she's 2. And Dana's out in the field.
Good morning. Good morning.
So on the topic of flowers, a crucial part of our improvement or ability to sort of break into that world of flowers has been education. As market gardeners, we of course have a lot of the infrastructure you need, but there's a world of knowledge beyond vegetables, and it was really eye-opening to see just how different flowers are from growing vegetables. Each seed has far more detailed requirements to get them to germinate or grow well, and yeah, it's just very different. The crop plan is extremely different. You plant less of far more types, a lot more requirement of record keeping, labeling, just attention to detail, and education was a huge part of that. Louise, you want to tell me what's happening?
Some of these ranunculus got left in the ground over winter, and because it was a mild winter, they've actually started growing again. So we're digging them up and we're going to replant them, and they're going to be so beautiful.
They're gorgeous.
We're so happy. Shall I give you a tray and you do that half measure?
So ranunculus are really tough. They don't like to be over 20 degrees Celsius. So there's all kinds of certain things you have to do to try to get a good yield, to get long stems. We've grown them for 3 years and had some success. This year we tried to save our ranunculus chromes, and they didn't go that well. So these ones that overwintered are a real blessing, and we're gonna just have at least some. And then now that we are in the new flower course from the Market Gardener Institute, we're really excited because they had a couple new methods that are for this region to effectively grow ranunculus and anemones. So we're really excited to sort of try those out for this season. And one of them includes some overwintering for early ones next season. So that's in the course, and I've thrown the link down below, so check that out. Flowers is also a great addition to any market garden because you've already got sales channels set up. So we sell a lot, like most of ours are through the farmers market, and then you've also already got branding and likely a website, so it's really easy to just add things to that. So we have a section on our website for weddings, and they're not a huge part of our business, but it's something we're looking to expand. And we also have retail, that we have a fresh list that we send out weekly, and we just put flowers on, and that's a great location as well to move flowers. So this plot of 8 beds that we just prepped yesterday is getting planted today by Cal and Bryn. Cal right now is just using the paper pot to transplant some scallions, fennel, and kohlrabi. The paper pot system is amazing because in the same time that this would have taken 2 to 3 people, maybe an hour or 2, she can do this alone in less than an hour, maybe half an hour, including bringing the trays, switching the trays, all of that. Now the paper pot system is not certified organic in Canada, but it is in the US. We are non-certified organic, so we take that as enough to justify us being able to use it. It's just an acetate that's not certified, and it is something that they're working on doing in the future. The acetate that I'm speaking of is it just in the glue in the actual paper pot trays. So there's sort of like this honeycomb that comes unfolding and gets transplanted into a trench by the machine. So I'm going to show you this. Got a fresh delivery from Dubois. I love when the timing works out like that. That's the row cover that we need for this new planting that's going in right now. So that's incredible. And then we also got our additional line of micro sprinklers because we don't want to be moving them back and forth from the cat tunnel to the other cat tunnel all the way across the farm. So it's worth the investment to have 2, and then that's going to give us more versatility in the summer too, to have 2 lines of micro sprinklers for germinating direct seeded crops as well when we have carrots and stuff. So that's really nice. Potting up is done for the week, and then now they're on to the paper pot onions. So that's a huge time saver for us because onions, if you've transplanted them by hand, you know can be a lot of work, and even planting them into cells. So we're using the drop seeder here and the paper pot system, and then when it's time to transplant, we can get it done in a morning with 1 person rather than a full day with many people. So here's our first planting. And they're working on a second planting right now. We just spaced them 3 weeks to a month apart, just so that we have staggered fresh ones, and then they're sort of all ready to store. It also just saves a little bit of labor, like the crunch of getting all of the storage ones in at the same time. So this whole 8 bed plot will be planted by the end of the day and irrigated all at the same time. Lovely. We've got scallion here, fennel, kohlrabi, arugula, baby kale, and then 1.5 beds each of radish and turnip. So it'll all get watered and covered today. So then Bryn, my suggestion is with Cal, as soon as she's done that, I think we should switch to focusing on getting this stuff covered to make sure it gets done.
Do you know, you want insect netting on these?
Yeah, those 5 will be insect netting, so you'll use the 2. So then we'll have to use the single one for the bok choy that's in the cat tunnel there. So how'd it go up there?
I think they're all set up now. The
Sweet.
only thing is I told them to let me know before they want to irrigate or when they're ready, because I'm going to flush the lines. I have the 2 ends open.
Right. Oh, but then you can just flick it on and they'll close them.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
perfect. Okay, sweet.
And then I have to just open that valve too.
Perfect. Sweet.
But
Yarrow is 3 beds, 9 inches. So 3 beds, 9 inches. We'll do 4, 6 first.
So we got everything planted and covered. Now it's time to irrigate. The row cover is on these transplanted crops to protect them from the cold tonight. So that's the scallions, the fennel, and the kohlrabi. This one will stay on the kohlrabi because we have to protect it from the flea beetle. And then these insect nettings are strictly for the flea beetle. So that's for those direct seeded brassica crops like turnip, radish, arugula, and red Russian kale. Overheads, you can't walk away without watering everything in. And that's it. We'll be back tomorrow. That's another great day. Wednesday complete. It's Thursday morning and it's pouring rain. So luckily we do our best on these weeks to hold some indoor work in the tunnels, in the nursery, and in the greenhouses for these rainy days. Of course, we're fine to work in the rain if we have to, but also if we can plan for it, we try to keep those tasks for the rainy days. So we have enough today to probably keep us going. And if not, we might have to end the day with a little field prep, but we'll see. Look at this. Whew. 3 full 120-foot beds of flowers in this tunnel. So this is all cold hardy stuff like bachelor buttons, bells of Ireland, snapdragons, larkspur, yarrow, Queen Anne's lace. I'm trying to remember it all. That's a good chunk of it. Some poppies. Louise is the one who knows. So we're just unwinding now the netting that's going to be in here. And then when like in May, when it's safe to plant the dahlias, or maybe a week or 2 before it would typically be safe, we're actually going to move this cat tunnel off of these cold hardy crops and put it onto where we want to put the dahlias. So this tunnel is going to serve us twice for spring flowers, and it's going to be amazing. Woohoo! So look at this. Go Bryn, go. So this is the Heart Nova netting from Dubois, and what it does, we spread it horizontally across the bed, elevated, I'll show you after, and we put it across, taut, with pieces of rebar, and put it to the height we want so that it can keep the flowers growing straight. Like things like snapdragons, if they're growing crooked and then straight, they're not marketable. So there's a lot of things that require netting. And again, with this course, we're gonna see it has an X on every single flower that prefers netting and stuff like that. So these resources are amazing for sharing information like that when we're planning and setting things out. So Louise, what are you checking right now?
So I'm going to check the poppies, see if they need to be netted or not.
Awesome. So beyond having like a quick reference like this, what do you find, what are some things you love about having the courses as resources for us, like as we go, as an employee, like how do you find it helps?
Yeah, it's great. It's a great foundation to build on what knowledge I already started with.
Yeah.
And to put it into practice every day when I come to work. So
Yeah.
Everything from germination,
Yeah.
planting like we've done today, spacing, the care of the plants.
Yeah.
They all have kind of different needs.
Yes,
so
definitely.
That's been interesting, especially for planting.
Yeah, just referencing on the fly kind of.
Yes,
Like
yeah,
having
so
them
this
here.
is great with all the check marks for me. I can just quickly look across. I've got spacing, if they need to be pinched or not too. is
Yes,
really
oh yeah,
important.
yeah, true.
So,
And then we can sort of you make a mental note as you're planting, like, oh, I'll have to be back for that, or things like
so
that.
today the most important thing too after they're in is for the netting, because last year we left it a little too late.
Yes.
So it was harder to get on. So
Yeah.
we're on it first thing, which is
Yeah.
also one of the things I learned from the course,
Yeah.
how important that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I realized later on. Yeah, then even just harvesting them,
Right.
looking after them after that, what
Right,
they
the
need.
aftercare,
Yeah.
and then how long their vase life is. Yeah.
How to look after
So-
them and bouquets, what
Yeah.
flowers go with what.
True. There's
Tons
just
of
so
knowledge.
many different like information pieces for every individual flower. I find it's different from vegetables like that, where this like having it all provided to you from someone that's done it before is like invaluable
Yeah,
while
it's-
we're
it's
learning.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm learning every day. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. I just want to show how clutch having a heat gun for this stuff is. Like this, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna do this? This into here. It's like literally impossible, maybe if you're super strong. And then heat gun, hold on. So, really handy to have. They're like 80 bucks, but just to have one on site when we're doing stuff like this is absolutely necessary. All right, so got a bin full of these things now, and if everything's gone well for Cal, I can go up and I can just follow behind her and plug these in along the bed. Let's see how it's going for her. So Cal was super smart and she went ahead and put the posts at each place, every 5 foot mark. I think that was clever. So now she's just got a nice visual and done in advance, so then when she's working with the drill, she can just go. Okay, this is gonna be a quick, intensive learning on, there's actually a lot of information to share here. So these are direct seeded carrots, and I'm about to flame weed. So in order to flame weed, what we do is we prep the bed, plant the carrots, and then before they emerge, germinate, I'm gonna flame weed the beds. That's gonna kill any weeds that have germinated beforehand. So the goal is to have them fully prepped actually before you plant the carrots, because that gives the weeds a head start. So these beds were actually prepped 5 days before we even planted them. Then we didn't even rake them or anything. We just directly planted right onto them, because then the weeds have already begun to germinate. So then the other trick is we put beet seeds at the end of the bed to germinate. And full truth is, I actually don't think they've germinated yet, but we usually use them as a signal to germinate, because to flame weed, because they'll germinate a day or two before the carrot seeds. But it's the day before the weekend. I know I'm not gonna flame weed over the weekend, and the carrots will have germinated by Monday. So I'm not risking that. We're just gonna go ahead and flame weed. This is more so the beet seeds would have told us if we needed to do it earlier in the week, and they hadn't germinated by Wednesday, Thursday. So now it's just like, we're just doing it regardless. Okay, one more quick thing. This is actually just a trial, but we use these as the things to hold our plastic up in our nursery when we split it in the spring. And we're gonna start using them instead of these guys to hold up our plastic on our cat tunnels, because these guys get bent really easily. You need something to hold up the plastic, and they go around the hoop, but what happens is they get bent if there's any rain. I think these will fall down if there's rain too, but at least these aren't getting bent and ruined forever. These will just pop off, the water will come down, and then we'll reuse them again later. So it's like a win-win kind of, because the other ones stay up but get ruined. These, when the water comes on, will just automatically pop off from the weight, and then we don't have to come around and fix everything and get the water out of the pooled up areas. These will just have like a fail-safe. So we're gonna try these instead, and I think it's a great idea, but we'll keep you posted. Obviously, the reason we're doing that now is because I don't want to flame weed any plastic. So obviously that's being held up. Then we're gonna flame weed really quick. You're gonna see that next. That's using a roofing torch. So this is a messenger backpack, which is big enough to hold a propane tank. So the concept of flame weeding, if you've never heard of it, is just that the flame, the heat, you don't even have to touch it long. Just as soon as the high heat touches a small weed, it kills it immediately. Whoa. So we're trying something new. It wasn't totally deliberate, but we are leaning our cucumbers to one side. It may have been more of a situation of the rows not really aligning with the clips above, but we all think it looks really cool and we think it's going to be amazing, even though it was not deliberate.
Thank you.
Great job in the innovation department, Cal.
I just want to thank Messing Up. I don't think I could have thought of this if I hadn't goofed.
We think the cucumbers might lean into the row and show us where they are better. Might be easier to harvest. Yeah.
Happy accident.
Yeah, yeah. Bryn is...
Oh my god! Stop! Stop! This is Boo Boo.
This is Boo Boo.
Oh my god! So cute.
Isn't he the best?
Oh my god, he's mini vision. Why am I crying? I'm so excited. God, I love dogs way too much. Oh my god.